Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. Going to have a look at weather for 10 to 14 days for today's video. Day 10 will take us to the 14th of November, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the excellent GFS and ECM ensembles. May run to around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS-V2 for December at the end of the video, and I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video today was our 6 AM upload, and we've also released JWV Friday as well, so please check out those two videos if you'd like to do that. Like, share, subscribe on this, and thank you so much everybody for doing that. Could be live streaming after 10 o'clock tonight, the first pub run live since last winter. We'll be back with you tonight, so we'll have a bit of a laugh there. Okay, let's start off in the tropical Atlantic. So we've got two interesting areas. We've got a yellow X just here. That is disturbance 1. We have 10% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 and 5 days. And then we've got tropical depression Lisa just here. Give maximum sustained winds of 30 miles per hour. Lisa is soon going to be done. However, current position is there. Lisa will move northwards as a tropical depression and pivot around, and then just sort of die a death really over the weekend. So Lisa will soon be finished as well. After that, there's not much else to be seen. We have a look at the 5-day tropical outlook. So there is an interesting area that might form around here. At some point in the next 5 days, 40% chance of cyclone formation there in the next 5 days. So we wait and see if anything develops in that area. Right, central temperature is finally updated for November. We've got our first opening salvo for November, and we're standing at 10.7 at the moment, which is 4.3 degrees above average. So on and on it goes, doesn't it? Been an exceptionally mild start to November, and already only 3 days in, you have to start thinking that we're likely to have yet another above average month to add to the remarkable collection of warmer than average months that we have had through this year. Really has been an extraordinarily warm year in 2022, and I mean, it's early days, but already, given the charts that we're looking at, you have to think that another above average month is likely for November. However, we are early days, so after 3 days, provisionally, we are standing at 10.7. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're at London today, so the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We're starting off a little bit below average at the moment. Now you can see those upper air temperatures lifting up over the weekend into next week, and then through next week gets very, very mild indeed, really significantly above average with those upper air temperatures for time during the second week of the month. There is a bit of a cooling trend in evidence there as we go into the second half of November, but certainly the next week, 10 days, is looking mild, very mild, or maybe even exceptionally mild. Precipitation-wise, it'll be reasonably dry for the next day or two, although there will be some precipitation around. Have got a big rainfall spike there sometime during the early part of next week. Then we go through a drier phase as the temperature lifts up. So that's high pressure, of course, building in, lifting up the upper air temperatures and also turning things drier. And then second half month might go more unsettled once again. Temperature anomalies from the 4th to 12th of November are going to be above average. Precipitation anomalies from the 4th to 12th of November, wetter than average in the north and northwest, but drier than average in many central and eastern parts of the country. The latest wind by map from earthnullschool.net shows that we're between areas of low pressure today under a bit of a transient ridge. So the low that we had yesterday and on Wednesday, that's moving away to our east. Got more low pressure in the Atlantic, and in between we've got this transient ridge that will be flattened off tomorrow. Right, so by the time we get through to midnight on Monday, South UK Met Euro run is looking low pressure back in control to west of Scotland, bring in these mild west or southwesterly winds once again. We head on through next week, looking very mild, flat as a pancake with winds off the Atlantic, but very mild, and high pressure will be building across France and through the continent with low pressure rates towards Greenland and Iceland. That's going to bring up a very mild long fetch southwesterly wind for the second half of next week. That's why the upper air temperature is lifting up so much The air is originating from the Azores, maybe even further south of that, and pumping northwards, courtesy of this ridge of high pressure, combined with a low pressure around Greenland and Iceland. So turning exceptionally mild later next week. Icon looks like that. Once more, low pressure dominates over through the early part of next week, bringing plenty of wet and windy weather. Then the trend is towards drier weather, particularly the south and the east, as high pressure builds to our south and east. Low pressure out to the northwest will keep wind up from a southwesterly direction. That returns southerly with the wind by the time you get through to midday Friday next week. High pressure to the east, low pressure to the west, and we're bringing up those very mild, if not warm, southerlies. The GFS midnight run, again, looking very unsettled through the early part of next week. Plenty wet and windy weather. Then heights rise to our south and east with this area of high pressure moving northwards. So as we get into the second half next week, we turn drier. The trend is towards drier weather, but also very, very mild with that area of high pressure dominating to our south. The high pressure is trying to get to Scandinavia by day 10, which is the 14th of November. Low pressure being blocked in the Atlantic. We're still very mild up to this point with the air coming up from a southerly direction. Just beginning to go a little bit more continental maybe, with the feel of the air. Might start to bring some slightly cooler air into eastern parts of the country, perhaps. And then the high pressure sort of slips down over the country, really, as we go into the middle part of month. So this is 17th November, high pressure right in over the country. It's a little bit towards Scandinavia. There's a bit of an easy drift. So I think the temperature probably start to lower around the middle part of the month. We might start generating some frost and fog, a bit of gruesome to some with that area of high pressure. So fundamentally, it is still a mild ridge, but I think by the time we're through to the second half of November, we are probably bringing in some cooler air, not particularly cold, but cooler air coming in from the east with that area of high pressure. So it eventually becomes maybe quite a cool ridge. On the surface, upper air temperature probably is still relatively mild. Let's have a look at those, shall we? And that's how they look. So yeah, still pretty mild with the upper air temperature, but if we look at the dew points, maybe they might be a little bit lower. No, that's wrong. Here we go. Yeah, the dew points are a little bit lower. Actually, they're near freezing, just to our east over the continent. So that implies inversion with that area of high pressure. It's warmer aloft with the upper air temperatures, but on the surface, it's actually quite cold, especially just to our east on the continent. So after it starts off as a very mild ridge, eventually GFS midnight run does want to turn that into a colder ridge of high pressure. It could start delivering some frost and fog into the second half of November. Right, the GFS 6Z are looking like this, wet, windy and pretty mild through the early part of that next week, very unsettled, and then high pressure again building up from the south during the second half of next week. Very, very mild with those southwest winds bathing the country as we run up towards day 10. The high pressure is trying to get to Scandinavia at day 10, 14th of November, still pretty active in the Atlantic though. And this GFS run goes off on a different path again, and actually turns more unsettled through into the second half of November, with low pressure bringing a return of pretty wet and windy weather there off the Atlantic. So no high pressure, no high pressure becoming a cooler ridge into the second half of November, actually just keeping it mild, wet and windy. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know what you think about all of our videos, and don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. And we thank you so very much, everyone, for doing that. GM again looks like this. Low pressures in the Atlantic with these very mild southwest winds through the early part of next week. Low pressure keeps coming up to the middle part of the week, and then high pressure begins to build up from the south, turning England and Wales drier by the end of next week. Still unsettled with rain for Scotland and also for Northern Ireland, and also very, very mild with those southwesterly winds as well. Up to day 10, look at this, winds in from the south, high pressure to the east, low pressure west. Winds are coming up all the way from Spain, probably even further south than that actually. So that's the pattern that we had in the summer. You remember the pattern that gave us 40 degrees back on the 19th of July. It's back again on the 14th of November. So on and on and on and on and on and on and on it goes with these southerlies. And then the ECM WF looks like that. So once more, we've got low pressure out to our west on Monday. Plenty of wet and windy weather for the early part of next week. And then high pressure builds up from the south into the second half of next week, turning things drier and also warmer across many parts of the country. That's how we look with the ECM as we get to day 10. High pressure is trying to get going over Scandinavia, but too much energy in the Atlantic to allow that to happen. And so all that's going on here is that we're staying very mild and probably turning more unsettled again by day 10. This is my precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from temeshow.com. Got shower rain coming across the country tomorrow. There'll be more wet weather through the early part of next week as well. And then the trend will be towards drier weather as a high pressure builds out to our south and east. Low pressure gets pushed away to the north and west. And we have a few days of dry conditions, although by day 10, just hints at some more shower rain beginning to head in from off the Atlantic. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to the 14th of November. 12 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure over to the east of the country, low pressure out to west. Winds coming up from a very mild southerly direction with that one. 11 including the control and the operation run with high pressure to the east. Low pressure is to the west, and that's staying very mild as well with winds seen from the south-southwest. 10 with high pressure over slightly to the east country. That's going to be mostly dry. Might be a little bit cooler with that one. Bring the air in off the continent. 10 with high pressure right in over top of the country. That might give a little bit of frost and fog. And then 8 very mild with low pressure north, high pressure to the south. That's the most unsettled option. Rather wet and windy, especially so for the north and west. And then 2 weeks time, these are the options that we've got. And this will get us to the 19th of November. 19 members of the ECM ensembles, kind of like what the GFS operational run is doing, building high pressure over a little bit further north of the country, which might allow slightly more of an EC influence, and so that could start to cool things down under that ridge. Although it is still technically a mild ridge on the surface, we might get an inversion from that. Then we've got 19 with high pressure out to our west, low pressure to our east, and so that could bring in the wind from off the Atlantic, reasonably mild, but there might be a bit of a northwesterly component to that wind. And then 13 with low pressure in off the Atlantic, that's going to be the mildest and wettest option. CFSB2 finally for December. This is the latest 700 millibar height anomaly forecast. Look away now if you want a cold December, because forecasting high pressure be around Spain and the Azores, low pressure to our north. It is sent over Scandinavia, so there might be a little bit of a northwesterly influence there, but basically going for an Atlantic-driven December, which delivers us into a significantly milder than average month. And also, rainfall is quite weak, but a bit wetter than average to the north, and a little bit drier perhaps to the south. Right, we're done. If you enjoyed the video, please you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids, and we thank you so very much for doing that. We've got to put on around 40 subscribers now. That's all to get ourselves to 14.7k. So subs moving quite quickly. If you could give us a sub and tell friends and family to subscribe as well, that would be incredible. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. Right, so we're going to be live streaming from or after 10 p.m. this evening. I've got 2 live streams to do today. I've got a channel members live stream to do at 7, and then I've got Friday Night Live to do after 10. So I should be on my last legs by midnight, I think. But I shall see you all live after 10 for our first Friday night pub run live since last winter. We'll check in and have a bit of a laugh. And then tomorrow we have got the 6 a.m. broadcast. We have got the ECM WF 42 days / 6 weeks look ahead. It's a laugh, that one. I should say no more than that, but it is very, very, very funny. We've got the week ahead forecast and also 10 to 14 there. And then on Sunday, of course, we've got 6 a.m. upload followed by the big one, followed by the 10th winter 2021, 2022. More popular, yes it is. 2022, 2023 update number 10 will be coming up for you on Sunday. Well, you enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon. I shall perhaps see you live tonight. But for this one, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.